Hello, and thank you for joining us for the project overview for the Strengthening My Workforce Pathways project. My name is Erica Oriens, and I'm the Executive Director of the Michigan Center for Student Success at the Michigan Community College Association. I have the pleasure of working with my colleagues Katie Girardello, Precious Miller, and Jenny Schenker on our student success work across the state of Michigan. The Center for Student Success was created in 2011 with a generous grant from the Kresge Foundation to support Michigan community colleges in their efforts to improve equitable student outcomes. Today, for our discussion, I want to focus on three aspects of the Strengthening My Workforce Pathways project, including a project overview, support from the Center for Student Success, and how you can get involved. I'll start by thanking our funder, the Ascendium Education Group, for providing financial support for this project and for their very thoughtful partnership in designing this work and supporting our colleges. Our project overview really focuses on four fundamental aspects of improving equitable access to and through workforce programs at community colleges. I'll discuss each of these strategies individually, but I think it's important to communicate here that our goal is to really improve outcomes throughout all of our workforce programs by focusing on discrete aspects of improving access to and completion of those programs. What do we mean by workforce programs? We're really focused on 6 industry clusters that are shown to have strong labor market outcomes. And you'll see this thread throughout much of our work where we're organizing our work in these 6 industry cluster areas and considering how we can support colleges in these areas. This is a list of partners that we'll be working with on the project. Many of these names will be familiar to those of you who have been involved in our work, and they're really truly subject matter experts on student success throughout the country. So let's get into focusing on strategy 1, which focuses on workforce program design. We will work with a select group of community colleges from across the state who are interested in focusing very closely on designing specific programs and implementing certain practices at scale, which are outlined in the Aspen Institute's Workforce Playbook. The wonderful advantage for all community colleges in the state is that these programs that want to focus very specifically on improving student outcomes will document their activities through the scale of adoption assessment and share their lessons learned with institutions across the state. As I mentioned, we'll be leveraging the excellent resources in the Workforce Playbook, which are divided into 4 domain areas, and we will also use the very popular scale of adoption assessment model that many of you have used through our other projects, including guided pathways, transfer, developmental education, and student basic needs, to support colleges in their effort to determine if they are implementing practices at scale. This work has already begun. We have started to recruit institutions who want to be a part of this deeper work, who have committed to participation through an MOU. We will launch a series of workshops, mentoring, asynchronous and synchronous engagements between now and through the end of December of 2023. Our second strategy focuses on awarding academic credit for industry credentials. Most institutions, if not all community colleges in Michigan, award academic credit for alternative credit in a variety of different areas, including AP, IB, and CLEP. In this particular project, we're interested in supporting colleges in awarding academic credit for industry credentials. So what does that look like? Well, typically community colleges prepare students for industry credentials. A student will take a course at a community college, they'll sit for an industry credential examination, and then they'll earn an industry credential. In this project, we want to flip that process and use a backwards design to award credit for credentials. Students will earn an industry credential, will evaluate that credit at the community college, and then award the credit at the institution, very similarly to the well-established process of awarding transfer credit that has been completed at another institution of higher education. Colleges will be able to take advantage of 4 different types of project support. We'll focus on developing equitable policies at the institution level, integrating the process of awarding credit into the student experience from admissions all the way through completion. We'll work collaboratively across the state to align with credentials and ensure that we are adopting equitable policies to award credit for credentials. And then finally, we'll do some collective work to communicate more effectively with students and employers about these industry credentials. This work will begin with a workshop in fall of 2021, which will provide a much more detailed overview of our project vision, and we'll have guests from several community colleges in the state that have already adopted promising practices. Throughout 2022, we'll have several workshops that focus on the various aspects of support that we plan to provide. We also plan to make some changes to the Michigan Transfer Network so that we can communicate this information to students and employers. Our plan is to begin working with community colleges in early 2023 to understand how to provide your information about what credit you award to the Michigan Transfer Network. We'll launch the website in 2023 and then continue to provide support to participating institutions. Our 4th strategy focuses on the transfer to the bachelor's degree. For those of you who have been involved in our transfer work in the past, you'll recognize that we would like to build multi-institutional associate to bachelor's degree transfer pathways. Many of you know we did that in 10 academic programs in partnership with the public universities and independent colleges. And we would like to leverage that very successful work to build additional pathways from applied associate degrees to applied bachelor's degrees. This slide should also look familiar to many of you, which displays the model that we use for our MyTransfer pathways for applied degrees. Community college students would complete their applied associate degree, the Michigan Transfer Agreement, and also some bachelor's degree requirements that can be completed at the community college. Then the student would transfer to the bachelor's degree granting institution to complete remaining bachelor's degree requirements. This probably looks familiar to some of you as what we would typically call a 3+1 program. At the center, we prefer to think about these agreements in the context of awarding degrees. And so that's why you see some language changes here. But what we'd like to do is expand the opportunities for students to have access to those degree completion programs. Right now, we'll focus on 4 priority agreement areas. Several universities have general bachelor's degrees where a student can earn any applied associate degree and earn an applied bachelor's degree. We'll focus another agreement on healthcare, another agreement for students who have completed an associate degree in applied business. And then finally, we'll focus on students who have associate degrees in information technology, such as programming, networking, or cybersecurity, and build transfer pathways to the bachelor's degree completion programs in those areas. These are a few examples of bachelor's degree programs at public universities and independent colleges throughout the state. So what we hope to do is leverage some of these relationships that we already have with public universities and independent colleges to expand opportunities to earn the bachelor's degree for all 28 community colleges in Michigan. This work has already begun. the center has been working with the community college members of the transfer steering committee to come up with a strategy for how we'll do this work. Ultimately, our plan is to develop the agreements in the winter and spring of 2022, sign articulation agreements in the summer, and then deploy agreements in the fall of 2022. We also expect through this process that we'll find that there are other opportunities and other bachelor's degree program areas where where community college graduates would have an interest in earning a bachelor's degree. So we will continue to look at that and add more agreements as it seems appropriate. Finally, I want to focus on our fourth strategy, which focuses on timely advising interventions. We know that there are exceptional advisors and counselors, faculty and staff members across campus who are responsible for providing support to students. And one emerging area that is crucially important for students is expanding their understanding of career fields and career opportunities in Michigan. What we'll do in this strategy is work with stakeholders from across the state of Michigan to create customizable, interactive resources that can help advising and counseling folks understand more about career fields and access to workforce programs. These resources will be available for colleges to adapt for faculty and advisor training and professional development opportunities. For example, we may cover information about the job outlook in Michigan through 2028. We may focus on various different emerging careers in manufacturing and what those jobs look like. Among students who may be interested in a career in healthcare, helping them explore the various different programs that community colleges offer, and really thinking about some disruptions in the economy that may open up new job opportunities for students. This work will begin in early 2022 by convening statewide advisory groups to help develop our strategy for this. Our plan is to launch the advisor resource guides in the summer of 2023 and continue to provide support for community colleges through the fall of 2023 and beyond. So how can you get involved? We encourage you to attend our virtual workshops and convenings, which will all be recorded and available on the MCCA website. We would like to understand if there are folks that work at the colleges that would like to participate in advisory groups that will help guide this work in the state of Michigan. And we always encourage you to share resources with your colleagues. Although some of the workshops or convenings that we host may not be a good fit for you, we expect that they would be for some of your colleagues, and we appreciate it when folks at the college can share this information across campus. You can also stay connected with this work by connecting with the project liaison at your institution. You can visit the Strengthening MiWorkforce Pathways website on the MCCA website. You can follow us on Twitter and LinkedIn, or you can contact the MCCA staff to get involved. Our contact information is available here. We'd especially love to hear from you if you're interested in serving on an advisory group. Thank you so much for your participation. We appreciate your time and attention to this and look forward to working with you on strengthening MiWorkforce Pathways project. Thank you.